Historically, Thanksgiving week has been a very strong week for small cap stocks and the overall small cap market. We would commonly see massive supernova rallies into Thanksgiving, but this week it was a bit different. Monday and Tuesday were kind of slow. We did have COSM, but now today we are seeing even more volatility, lots of stocks popping up left and right. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my trades on MANU, Manchester United, having their announcement of selling off the club. They had a very nice spike, and also a simple trade on a smaller stock, which is not that big of a gain, but is definitely a good system to learn from. I used the same strategy for both trades. I did trade options on MANU. So you can kind of see how I apply options trading to small caps and how I use those same strategies to trade them. So before we get into it, just scroll down, hit that like button, tell YouTube that you like this content. And with that being said, let's get into the video. All right, what's up everyone? Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Trade Buddy recap webinar. And today we are finally seeing some of that classic, Thanksgiving volatility and volume in the small cap market. Today was a pretty decent day for a few different stocks. I'm not going to cover them all, but there were a lot of different runners left and right. In this lesson, I really want to focus in on my trades on MANU. Admittedly, I probably sold it too soon. I mean, the options expired December 16th. I probably could have held on to a few of them, but oh well, it is what it is. It didn't really show clear weakness. I just kind of wanted to lock it in before the holiday. So we'll kind of cover that and break it down. And also, I took a trade on PRCH. Not a crazy mover, but it had a very nice chart. So obviously I like nice charts. So I honed in on this one and took a trade on it, locked in some partials, and I'm holding the rest over the next few days because, market's closed tomorrow. With that being said, let's just kind of cover MANU first, since I think it is the more interesting one. Manchester United, I'm sure most of you have heard that name before. It is a football club, or they own a football club, and they released a PR today, or I think last night, that they were well, there's a lot of PRs on this actually. But basically they said that they are looking to sell the club. They're looking to sell the club. They said right here, they're just looking for strategic alternatives to enhance the club's growth and basically looking to sell the club. That was the main headline. So that's what kind of shot it up yesterday. Like in the afternoon, it spiked up really heavily and then trended all after hours in pre-market today. And then now today on a nice big rally. So all throughout the day, there were different, big investors, billionaires who are pitching to buy the club, making bids on it. So that just kept on kind of pumping out PRs, pumping the hype into it. And obviously, it's the World Cup. So there's a lot of extra focus, I guess, on these football companies. Overall led to a very nice rally. Now, initially, when I was looking at this play, I was initially looking for it to be more of like a pump and dump. My initial thought this morning in pre-market was, okay, let's wait to see that failed breakout above pre-market high. And then once that breakout fails, buy puts using that, previous resistance as resistance again. Let's say, did something like this, and then, go for that lower move. That was my initial plan. Now, before I go further, right, this is a, larger company. So I figured that they had options available, and they did. So because this has options available, I wanted to trade options on it. It has enough, liquidity just to kind of make that feasible. Not just that too, but, if you look at the option chain, the strikes are pretty favorable. They had a strike at every dollar, with the range that it's seeing running from 14 yesterday up to 17 today. You could easily pick one of these strikes and, very likely buy out of the money and sell in the money very easily. So it made it worthwhile to focus in on the options. So yeah, like I said, the main plan was to look for that failed breakout, but then after market open came around, it had that breakout. And then it was really kind of consolidating and holding that pre-market high as new support. So I had to just kind of change up the plan a little bit, right? Obviously, now the chart looks very strong. It's not failing the breakout. It's, holding the level really well and consolidating. So basically after 10 a.m., once the hourly chart was able to just overall close above that pre-market high, that's when I started to look for those call plays. And I just ended up, trading the December 16th, right here, the like the $18 calls. And I bought them at around 70 cents each. If you look at the actual chart for the options, during that pullback, they did go a bit lower, but they didn't really have that much volume. It wasn't the easiest to get filled. You can see, during that pullback, they did go as low as 50 cents. And like I said, my fill was up at 70 cents. So it was just like right around, I believe it was actually right around here when it was kind of popping back up. So not the best entry, but overall, whenever I'm trading options, I really don't care that much about the option price. I just really care about how does the underlying stock look. And this looked like a very bullish setup, so I wanted to look for that trade. And then from there, I just kind of treated it as a normal kind of day trade, right? Using the 5-minute chart, knowing it has lots of hype, lots of volume. And after it kind of broke out above that morning resistance, I just used the 5-minute line chart, right? Very simple. You just switches to a line chart and just mark off those basic horizontal levels. See, the previous resistance was up at 17.18. And when that was able to break out, now my main thought is, all right, as long as it can hold 17.18 as support, it still is 100% bullish, right? Just let the damn thing run. See, it consolidated very well, overall held that level as support, then went for that next leg higher. And just do the same exact thing, right? As long as it holds that previous resistance as new support, still is bullish, let it keep on doing its thing. And that was all fine up until like right here. You can see there was this little moment of weakness. It's not really clear weakness. And I definitely, sold too soon, as we can see now. But once that kind of broke back lower, I just sold the rest of my calls at like 115 each. So making about, I think, like 75% on the trade. But as you can see now, into the close, they did spike up over 160. So yeah, I mean, I sold too soon, but it is what it is. My plan really wasn't to swing this thing. Obviously, there are some kind of uncertainties about this since they are looking to sell their main asset. And I feel like right now it really is more of like a buy the rumors, sell the news type situation. Like, and whenever they do actually have the transaction done, it's probably going to sell off. So the risk didn't really make sense to me in the moment just to hold it overnight. Obviously, markets close tomorrow. It's a short day on Friday. A lot of things can happen between now and then, so I didn't really want to take that risk. Now, looking at this chart, if you are still holding it, there are some key resistance levels to keep in mind. There is a very big weekly chart resistance right here, just right near 20 bucks. You can see it's been tested like 3 or 4 times now. Right here, and right here, right? Very big resistance. And after that, the next main one is up at 26 bucks. So, who knows how far it can go. There are probably lots of shorts trapped in this thing. I wouldn't be surprised with just how strong it moved all day. But overall, this is a very, very classic example of a break and hold of pre-market high, right? One of the main things I look for is when it has that breakout above pre-market high, the main thing that matters is, does it hold after 10 a.m.? And if it does, then it's probably time to be buying there, right? Because it's likely going to hold. And then from there, it's very bullish. So just a very nice example. And yeah, a decent day trade. Next is PRCH. This one was not on the watch list. I saw it later in the day. You can see it is a lower priced, play. It's only like $2 per share. And it had this, nice morning spike from 160 all the way up to like 205. So that obviously, put it on my radar. I went to the daily chart first. I saw, okay, has a bit of large average daily volume. That's not the best, but the one thing I did notice was that it is doing this kind of nice breakout right here. Nice little U-shaped breakout on the daily chart. So I saw that, and then I went to the hourly chart, and I saw that same kind of area, right? You can see this whole area here is a pretty big previous resistance level. So I just made a basic plan saying, okay, well, you know what? As long as it can hold that level on the hourly chart, and here it's important that I'm using the hourly chart, right? Because like the main level that I'm using is from the hourly chart. So the candles need to hold on the hourly chart, right? Because for example, if I used the 5-minute chart, there was one real time where like it kind of broke down, but still not really. But overall, you know, just whenever I'm using an hourly chart level, I want to be watching the hourly chart hold. So I waited for that first hourly chart candle to break out and actually close. And then after that, it became like a stock that I want to trade and I want to make a plan on. You know, very simple plan, using that previous resistance as new support. First target is going to be the first intraday high. Not that much range on the upside for the first partial, but that's okay. Up there at 196. And I just sent orders down. I got not the best entry once again, but I got filled at about 188. Held it for like 3-4 hours. Eventually, afternoon, it started to really run up. And then locked in the first partial right at 198. And then now I'm just, you know, looking to hold the rest overnight. You know, once it was able to get above this high of day on the 5-minute, now I'm kind of honing in on that to say, okay, well, now as long as I can hold that, it's like, you know, super bullish. But overall, because the whole trade was based on the hourly chart, the real level that matters to me is 196. As long as 196 can hold overnight, then it still is super bullish. Now, one thing to consider, right? It's not a stock that has insane range. So I'm not going to have insane price targets, right? It seems to be a stock that's very actively traded and there's lots of levels of resistance up ahead. So it's not one I'm going to hold for like $5 or whatever. There's some like nice levels of resistance at like 225, at 279, and then up here at like 320. Those are the main levels I'm looking at right now. And overall, you know, nice, decent little day trade, nothing too crazy, but a lot better than we were seeing in the first few days of this week, that's for sure. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so if you enjoyed that lesson and you stuck through the entire thing, then it probably means that you like the way that I teach and you are able to understand the concepts that I'm teaching you. If you're a new trader and you're struggling in the markets, I know that you can go out and try to learn it all by yourself. I did that same thing and it took me years to finally, you know, grasp it all and make an actual system. But I want to shorten that learning curve for you. So I have a lot of free content down below. Number one, I have my 1-hour trading course that you can sign up for completely for free to get an actual roadmap of how to trade. And also I want to invite you to my community of traders with a 14-day free trial. You're going to get a course, a chat room, and you can talk to me directly and ask me questions. So I want to help you on your journey. I know it can be very stressful, very hard to kind of figure out all the pieces, but I've already made the puzzle and I want to give it to you solved. So if you want that content, please click the links down below. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video lesson.